message, taking my soul into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the...
Finally, after many, many years, we are back. This is OSC FC. I am Dillon, your host. I got a Juve shirt on, but go Dortmund. And
Hi, I'm Mr. Strangio, a media teacher here. A little disappointed it's a Juve shirt. Obviously, we support Milan in this classroom, so although the season has not been great and we want Cardinale out, but always Forza Milan.
I'm a junior, Roland Davis. Glad to be here. I'm not a big soccer enthusiast, but I know my good soccer knowledge. I know good ball knowledge, so I'm here.
boy does not have any
Here
ball
for the ride.
knowledge.
Here for the ride.
Zero ball knowledge. All right, anyways, let us get started. As we know, the UEFA Champions League is just up and coming, but there were still some very incredible semifinals games to go over. So I think this is what we discuss first.
Champions League, okay. So, personally, I was focused on Inter and Barcelona.
That's what game I was really
That
wondering.
was,
Yeah, that was
mainly because I like to hate watch all the Italian teams in the Champions League.
fair enough.
So I was really hoping for Inter to lose. And unfortunately, that did not happen. However, the two legs, in my opinion, might have been probably the best tie in recent memory for the Champions League.
Yeah, honestly, I can't think of like a better game that I've watched honestly, ever. Like that was like probably some of the best like two-legged football that we've seen. Inzaghi's him. I would think top 3 manager of the decade. I think that's there. Inzaghi to multiple Champions League finals. Inter Milan. The Serie A is struggling financially, but he's still taking Inter Milan to semifinals, Champions League finals. Simone Inzaghi's goated for real. Even as an AC Milan fan, you can't say that he's not like top 3 coaches right
I
now.
would not, just because they haven't won. For how much success he's had, he hasn't won the Champions League. He's only won Serie A, twice?
That's more than Milan.
Fair, but we all know
AC.
that Milan's not in the position to argue. Listen, if you're going to be talking about, and it's the same thing when we talk about the other clubs. If you get to these places, you got to win, and that's what you're only remembered for is for winning. So if you're not winning,
I mean, I do remember that Inter Milan was in a Champions League final 2 years ago.
for sure, but they still
Remember the
lost.
finals.
They still lost. I don't
Boring
not to
game.
discredit Inzaghi. I think he's done a great job at Inter, but I do think like he's hit the ceiling at Inter mainly because of I think personally because of the fact that financially they can't compete with the other clubs
This
around
is true.
Europe, and considering the talent they have, like the system works at Inter, the players are good. I just can't foresee them getting the players they need to go to that next step.
You do have a point. I will give you that because they do have like probably the best players they've had in like recent years.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Barella is, I would say, top 3 centerman in the world.
100%.
Bastoni, probably the best center back in the entire world, honestly, I'd argue. But arguably.
It's fair. It's up for debate.
Up for debate. It's debatable. But I still think Simone Inzaghi is the GOAT. And he is going to win the Champions League final. On May
Really?
On May
You
31st.
think so?
I honestly think so. I think this is the one. I don't see PSG ever winning a Champions League. It's never going to happen. I mean, again, Tottenham won a championship, and
I mean, so if we're going to stay on the Champions League, we were talking about that, right?
Yes.
PSG this year, overcoming Arsenal in the other semifinal. And PSG, though, I think this is the best team they've ever had without all the superstars.
yeah.
And
Okay.
it's come together for
Yeah.
them. I think, personally, just watching PSG play and watching Inter play and seeing, like, Inter's lost to Milan all 5 times this year. And Milan's not been a good team this year. So I think PSG can win, and I think they're just a better team. Overall, a better unit. Inter has its flaws, and I think PSG can exploit it.
Inter got that experience.
They
though.
do have the
They got
experience. They do have the experience, but I
PSG's
think
a bunch of young
PSG.
bucks.
Yeah, but Dembele, their front three is so good that I think
Oh,
it
yeah.
can cause, especially I think this year we kind of proved that defensively, the Inter's back five, back three, whatever we want to call it, has been more susceptible in the past, especially considering
Okay. Yeah.
considering that. So I think personally, again, this is my opinion, and just watching Inter pretty consistently this year, I think they're more vulnerable in the back than they have been. They've had a lot of rotation, had a lot of injuries.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're vulnerable, and I think PSG, because it's one game, right? So
Sure.
anything can happen. If it was a two-legged affair, I think Inter maybe would go through.
Yeah.
But since it's one game, Inter could definitely win the one game. But I think PSG's too good. I think they're really, really good this year. I think they are the best team in the world this year.
I do agree, but I think just tactically wise and in the Champions League aura, PSG got no Champions League aura.
They don't, but
They got negative Champions League aura.
I don't know.
What's your thoughts, Roland?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I think it's interesting. I think this final is going to be a fun game to watch. I hope it is at least. These are two teams that like to attack.
Yes.
They like to score goals, and I hope that it happens. I hope we get more of what we saw in the Inter Barcelona tie than PSG Arsenal, where I think Arsenal tried to play, but defensively PSG was good, but I just don't want to see one team just defend and just try to go on the counter.
Yeah, as long as it's better than Inter Milan's last Champions League final, because that was a snooze fest.
It was,
That
or
was bad.
even perfect segue here. Even the Europa League final
Yes.
last week with
Snooze
Tottenham
fest.
and Manchester United. You could definitely see it was two teams that were right above the relegation zone in England. The quality on display in that game was horrendous.
It's great. I mean, they put all their eggs in one basket, both finishing like legit at the bottom of the Premier League, right next to each other, and it shows. You know what I mean? Brennan Johnson, he had a good game. Vicario, he had a good game, but
Huge save at the end of the game.
huge
towards
saves. Huge saves. I mean, the amount of shots that Man United put up, and he was just saving them, which is good. But like, I think we can say Man United's a banter club. I think we could say this for a while now, but Man United's a banter club.
I was
Just put it out
actually, so I
there.
was watching a video on Manchester United. So there's the YouTube channel HITC7s. I don't know if you guys have
Good video.
Great
Good
channel.
channel.
Love them. The video for Man U's will be in the description below.
Goal Hole City.
But watching Man United and seeing their fall into becoming a banter club is quite interesting. And it's, Milan. If I want to draw parallels to Milan, like Milan had their banter era, and maybe with their new
Still in the banter era.
I think now, with the new owners, I think for sure we're in a new, potentially new banter
New
era.
era of
It's
banter.
way worse. This is way worse than the previous banter era because it was.
Yeah.
They have money, they're just choosing not to spend it. When other than like when Berlusconi had it, and they were poor and they couldn't do anything. But I think Manchester United are probably the most reckless spenders and proven to show that you just can't throw money at a team to buy players,
Yeah.
and hopefully it works. Like we've seen it. Like Manchester City has spent money, PSG has spent money, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they spend money
Oh, yeah.
on like top players. But it works out for them. And for some reason,
Exactly.
Manchester United, whenever there's like this dark cloud that hangs over them, they're buying talented players. Like you're bringing in Casemiro, who's won Champions Leagues. Anthony, who's before he went to Man U, was lighting up the Eredivisie.
Yep.
And all these other players, but they go to Man U. Like Mason Mount was decent at Chelsea. Like good.
He hasn't been bad at Man U. Mason Mount's been terrible.
Well, yeah, but he's bad.
Not
he's
60
had his,
million worth though.
Right, but he's also had his
poor
struggles
games.
with injuries too, so he's not even
Yeah.
on the pitch. So it's interesting how Man United are buying these players, spending way too much money on these players, and they're flopping. And then the players leave.
And they did go crazy. Anthony
Scott
is
McTominay
like,
this year,
yeah.
Napoli,
Oh my gosh,
Serie
Scott
A MVP.
McTominay. Yeah, 100% Serie A MVP.
Do you think that's a club problem? Do you think that's because of maybe their coaching, or what do you think that is?
I think
Just
it's
a curse?
definitely the coaching. I mean, Ten Hag, like, he was a good manager at Ajax, yes, but like, it's just a different type of club. Premier League is very different from the Eredivisie, I think. I mean, you look at Arne Klopp, you know what I mean, see how much success he's had, and then, or Arne Klopp, Arne Slot, shout out Jurgen Klopp, but Arne Slot, you see how much success he's had coaching Liverpool this year, and then you look at Erik ten Hag, who had, I honestly would say Erik ten Hag had more success in the Netherlands,
Sure.
yet it just Eric Ten Hag sucked. You know what I mean?
Roland, that's a really good question that you bring up because I do think I think coaching is part of the issue, but I think the also part of the issue is the club because it seems like they buy players, but it doesn't really seem like they have a plan for those players or like they don't fit the system that the coach is trying to play. So like you just said, they're bringing in coaches who've had success elsewhere, but they come to Man U, and then something happens.
Yeah.
And I think the problems at Man U is you just can't blame it on one single thing. It's everyone at the club is responsible. Between like the players that are playing, they're not good enough.
No.
The coaching is not good enough. Whatever system that they've tried to place, like the players just don't fit the system. And then management is not. There doesn't seem like there's no plan. So and we think of like Man City is like the perfect example because there is a plan with Guardiola. Management is on board and they have the same vision, so they're buying players that fit that system. And most of those players are coming in. They struggle at first, but then they'll adapt and they'll be good. You know, Barcelona and Real Madrid. Well, Barcelona's kind of bad with money, and we've seen that. But Real Madrid is a good example too, where you're buying these big name players. They're coming in. Again, there's always that adjustment period, so you give them a little grace. But like, you're signing players, and they turn out to be pretty much like 9 out of 10 times you're getting a solid player in the deal.
I think it's a reason too, because I've watched a few Man U games. They really do the same thing every game. They don't really switch it up. If they switched it up and tried something new, maybe they'll find some way to click. But I don't see anything happening like new happening any game.
Yeah. Honestly, when you are at that level of like about to be relegated in the Premier League, and you're like a historic giant, you know what I mean? A lot of times they'll probably just make you think, oh, we got to stick to this, and one time it's gonna work right. But you are right, honestly. They gotta change up the new manager, Amarim, who is a joke. Gyökeres tax. Gyökeres is the only thing that got him signed to Man United. For being real, Amarim he's a good manager, and he helped. Bless you, whoever's there. He helped Sporting get their first league title in like 20 years. But you also have Gyökeres on that team, who's like probably like the best striker to come out of a non-top 5 league in the last like decade almost, maybe other than Holland.
It's interesting. I feel like whatever manager they bring in, I feel like unless they first have to get rid of all the players at Man U that are just there.
So the entire team.
Yeah, essentially they have to. Yeah, there's so many players that they have to move on from, and they're on these giant salaries that can only be paid in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And you try to offload them, and it's nearly impossible. So I feel like whoever the coach brings in, they're going to have that issue of just there's going to be players there that have these massive contracts that they can't get rid of, and it kind of like handicaps the next coach.
Yeah.
Especially like when. What we talk like Donny Van de Beek is a good example with the contract that was just way too much, and trying to get rid of him was so hard. And they try to make as much money back as possible. But all these, Man U's taking a giant hit on financially, but it's a very interesting situation that definitely I don't think is getting fixed anytime soon.
Nah, Man United, you're screwed. Anyways, enough Man United hate. Even though you guys are a banter club, let's move on to the score predictions for the Champions League final. Strangio, what are you thinking?
I want it to be exciting, so I'm excited. I'm hopeful for goals. I think if I had to say 3-2, that's like unrealistic. I'm gonna hope for like a 2-1, but like it's an open game, and I'm gonna go 2-1 PSG.
2-1 PSG.
Open game, game's flowing.
Yeah.
It's not a boring game. I would like to see it in normal time. I don't really want to see extra time or penalties. I definitely don't want it decided on penalties. That's kind of not as fun.
No.
There's a lot of luck involved there, but I want it to be done in 90 minutes. 2-1 PSG.
I have a feeling it's going to go to the penalties, honestly. I think it's going to be a back and forth game. Yes, like Inter's defense, it is great, but especially against some like really like skilled like techie wingers like Barcola or Doué or Dembele, like it is going to be very tough. Like they had a tough time against Yamal and Rafinha. So those techie wingers definitely get them a little bit, especially with just like having wing backs. Great wing backs, Dumfries and DiMarco, top wing backs in the world. DiMarco's top 3 left back, don't at me. Anyways, I think it is going to be a 2-2 with penalties and Inter win in penalties because Jan Sommer is the best keeper in the world right now. Again, don't at me. It's true.
Interesting.
Bro.
In my opinion, I want it to be an interesting game too, but after all, overall, I see PSG winning 3-1 just because I feel PSG could get like two lucky goals in the 90 minutes. I low-key think they could do it and just pull ahead. And I feel like the Inter starts slacking off maybe in those 90 minutes and PSG just runs and gets the goal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 3-1 PSG.
I can see it. If it's going to be a high-scoring game and if it's one team is leading by a lot, it's going to be PSG. If Inter's on a bad day, but I still think they'll push it to pens or some sort of extra time. But anyways, Strangio, who do you guys your player of the game? Who's winning it? Champions League final MVP.
Come on, come on. Let's be for real here.
There's one out.
Come on,
Who do
Strangio.
you-
Come on, Strangio. No.
Honestly, as boring as it sounds, I feel like the keepers are going to be the ones that are going to be the important ones.
That's what I'm saying.
So if Inter wins, it's Sommer, easy.
Jan Sommer.
But if it's a close game and PSG wins, then it's Donnarumma that's going to be the difference, as he was the difference in the semifinal for PSG.
This is true. He's clutching up.
So if PSG wins, I'm going to say Donnarumma or Dembele because he's had a stellar season.
Yeah.
He's been fit. He's been playing really well, creating and scoring. So, but although like their midfield's nice though, I'm gonna say either Donnarumma or Sommer if it's a close game. We'll call the keepers. But if I have to pick an outfield player, I'm gonna pick Dembele for PSG.
All right. Yeah, honestly, that's probably the same exact thing I'm going to put. I'm picking either Sommer or Dembele. Possibly. Now, this is a very, very possibly, right? If Inter just somehow come out and score crazy goals, most likely not. Potentially, Lautaro could take it, but even then, I really think it's if Inter win, it's Jan Sommer because he's going to be the main reason. Because, like I said, he's the best goalkeeper in the world right now. His stats may not show it, at least this season. I mean, last season they definitely did. I think it was like 32 games, 20 clean sheets, which is last season, sure. But also, he's still producing the same amount of numbers and the same, just a little bit less games. And on the big moments, he's even better. You know,
For sure.
I wouldn't say carried, but he's been a major part in the Champions League final run. So, Roland, who do you think's playing the game?
I actually wasn't thinking about the keepers, which I do like that choice, but I think overall I'm still going to take Dembele. And I wasn't even thinking about him at first either, but after you're right, he did have a great season, so I am going to say him.
Yeah. Will be the reason PSG is making it up there. I mean, look, Barcola and John Neves and all of PSG's team, they're really good. You know what I mean? They have a solid team. It's with Mbappe and stuff, and when they had Messi and Neymar, it was too star heavy, it was too front heavy, and like there's so many times where Mbappe would just dribble up instead of giving the pass to Neymar or Messi, and it just ruined the chemistry. But
For sure.
this team is a strong group of players that all work with each other, that all want to really do something, and they're bringing football back. Honestly, I mean, watching PSG football it's really fun. Same with Barca football. It's football's looking bright. You know what I mean? It's looking good right now for the future. But
Sure. On a lesser, I don't know if this is in your notes, but I'm pretty sure today is the lesser, the least of the UEFA competitions with the Conference League
final.
So we got Chelsea and Real Betis today.
Chelsea and Real Betis.
Now, I don't know. I personally, I have not watched any of those teams this year.
I watched a good bit of Betis, I have to say.
Honestly, for vibes purposes, I want
Chelsea.
Betis to win.
Exactly, bro. Isco, Anthony.
The kits are nice. Bellerin.
The kits are nice. The kits are very nice.
Yeah, just pure on vibes. I
Pure
want
vibes.
Betis. But also, like, it'd be cool to see a Spanish team win. Obviously, we saw an all-English final in the Europa League.
Yeah.
I mean, the English teams this year in Europe have been pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
So it'd be cool to see a switch up. I'd like to see Betis win it, considering that they're a smaller club by like today's standards.
Oh yeah. Especially
Chelsea's a very unique project and very unique club at the moment, where I don't know. It's weird. It's interesting that they're finding success now with the new ownership, but I just want to see Betis win, just for the vibes.
Yeah, I also
for the
like
vibes.
seeing Chelsea fail. I like praying on Chelsea's downfall. When they hit like 12th that one year, I was giddy, just to say. It was
Right.
great. Chelsea, they're just such a money club, and they're just spending money. I mean, they legit have like 3 first teams. You know what I mean? And now they'll probably have like their best team out. So I think that they definitely have a better chance than what they would have had, like using their normal team with Evil Saka. No, but unless Evil Bukayo Saka scores a hat trick, I got Real Betis taking it. Because anyway, what was that? What was that reaction?
I'm nothing. I whispered my answer into the mic. That's all I can say.
Are you rooting for
This
Chelsea?
guy's sneaky.
I can't.
It's
I
okay.
can't.
You're allowed to have it. This is a safe space.
It's a
Roland.
safe space.
You can go for Chelsea. It's okay.
Give me Chelsea. I whispered
Honestly,
it into
yeah,
the mic a few minutes ago, but give me Chelsea.
Chelsea does have the talent, the superior talent.
Yeah.
They have the more talented team from top to bottom. I just for the sake of vibes, that's just.
Yes, for the sake of vibes. And Betis doesn't have a bad team either. Like I said, Isco and Anthony, those are 2 like just very talented, outfielders. I also think, oh gosh, I'm really forgetting what their goalkeeper name is.
They've got some. I mean, Betis has some good players as well. Let's not discount that. As that.
No.
To make a final in a European competition, although it's not. It's a lesser
The
one. You
final.
still gotta go through the.
100%.
Even when they in the semifinal against Fiorentina, which is a solid team in Serie A.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was a close.
Especially this year.
Yeah, it was a close affair that semifinal. Betis is they're no slouches, but overall though, Chelsea does have. If you go position by position, most positions Chelsea's got the superior player, but in a final anything can happen.
This is very true. All right, final score predictions for the Conference League final.
I can't foresee Betis winning if it's a high scoring game, so I'll again go 2-1. 2-1 Betis.
That's honestly the exact same thing I was thinking.
If I'm being completely honest, I was gonna say
Betis.
the exact same thing, but Chelsea 2-1 Chelsea, bro.
Okay.
2-1
That's fair.
Chelsea. 2-1 Betis, 2-1 Betis, 2-1 Chelsea.
I was gonna say the exact same thing.
Man of the match, Anthony. He's coming off in the 55th minute. He's gonna look at the camera. He's gonna be like,
It would be kind of poetic to see Anthony getting player of the game. Considering what we talked about with Manu
oh yeah.
and seeing him and how well he's performed since leaving Manu, it would be quite funny to see.
It's an $80 million transfer. Even though he was balling out of Ajax, it was not worth like $80 million. So, but he's shining at Real Betis, and I like it. I hope he stays at Real Betis too. I really hope he does.
I think it'll happen.
100%. He loves it there.
Yeah.
But no, I see Anthony getting man of the match just because it'd be awesome for the vibes. For the vibes, Real Betis Conference League final, and Anthony man of the match. What
you
you
got?
thinking?
I have no opinion. I really don't. I'm trying to think, and I'm blanking on the players
that's
for
fair.
Chelsea.
That's fair.
Well then, to the next segment. We've been dragging it on a little bit. I think it would be a grand idea to go over a little recap of the top 5 leagues.
For sure. I think it's fair considering that all the seasons are done now.
Yes,
We have our
indeed.
champions.
Champions. Shout out.
Where do you want to start?
Let's start League One, the Farmers League.
Okay.
So,
Farmers League.
as we know, Paris Saint-Germain win like every single year since I think like 2011.
They did have a year, I think it was 2021, or the year after COVID. That
Oh, was it
Lille,
Marseille-
it was
or Lille?
Lille. Yeah,
Lille
Lille
won?
won. But other than that, it's been PSG almost every year.
I'm not tapped in on the Farmers League. I'm gonna tap in now. Like I was watching this year with PSG because they're just. it's
They
incredible.
were again. They ran away with that league, like they do in
Yeah.
most years. But they ran away with it.
They're
this year.
extra this
Yeah,
year.
they won it fairly quick.
They were undefeated up until like the last 10 games of the season. They were undefeated.
Yeah.
By doing another Leverkusen. Anyways, but also Paris FC is coming up next year, and they
That'll
guys got
be-
bought by Red Bull. That is going to be quite the interesting ride.
That'll be. I will definitely be tuning in the league on next season, just to see that game because I think I remember watching somewhere that Paris FC is having an issue with their stadium and PSG is trying to leave the Allianz.
Parc des Paris.
Parc des Princes, I think is what it's
Yeah,
called.
Parc des
They're trying
Princes,
to
yeah.
leave there and build their own stadium. So there's stadium issues within Paris. So it'll be really interesting to see the dynamic of 2 Paris clubs of that size, considering, like you said, Red Bull being involved now. So it'll be really interesting.
Jurgen Klopp. Klopp. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be interesting
Anyways, and the player of the season I got for Ligue 1 is Dembele. I think we can all agree with that.
for sure.
It's Dembele. Anyways, on to Serie A.
So Napoli champions.
Napoli are the
On the final
champions.
match day. really dramatic. I gotta say, although I think Serie A gets a bad, in my opinion, again, being a very avid Serie A watcher, I think it's been the best league within the last 5 years in terms of just competitiveness, how close it's been. With this year, with Napoli winning on the final match day, when Milan won in 22 on the final match day, we've had a lot of close races for the title, and I think it's fantastic for the league, considering others have really just kind of been blown out of the water in terms of winning. So it's been really cool to see. Napoli winning is interesting. Conte coming in, no Europe for Napoli. It was almost kind of a lock that Napoli was going to win, considering they had no Europe and they had Conte. Conte, because he's kind of he's got that
aura. He got aura.
Yeah, he's got that. He's got the title-winning pedigree.
He ain't like Inzaghi, but he got aura.
Yeah, it's interesting. Inter's been a good team. Watching them this year.
I'm sorry. Do you say the title-winning pedigree?
Pedigree.
Triple H pedigree.
Yeah, I was like,
My bad.
it like clicked. I was like,
Not
what?
the WWE podcast. It's a soccer podcast.
I was like, what?
He's got the title.
He got the winning aura. He got the Serie A aura.
Inter's been an interesting group. Obviously, trying to go for the treble.
Yes.
0 for 2 so far. It could be treble hopes to no trophies at all.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting watching them in Coppa Italia when Milan played them. Just especially the second leg dominated them. So again, Inter have had their flaws. Still one of the best teams in Italy. And then Atalanta finishing third, Juve in fourth.
They're really rising up. Atalanta's like, it's incredible to see. Really.
Considering that they're a small team in terms of money, and the system that they have and the players they get, unbelievable in how they operate. It'll be interesting to see because there's rumors that some of their big guys are going to be leaving, and it'll be interesting to see. And even the coach at Atalanta might be leaving. Apparently, he's close to going to Roma.
Ooh.
Roma was very close to Champions League this year. Serie A this year was really cool, really tight. Even just relegation too. Like no one was until the last match day too. So it was fun. It was a fun watch. Obviously, Milan finishing in 8th place.
It was a good down to the wire league. It was good.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Scott McTominay just dominating, Matteo Retegui would probably be my player of the season for Serie A.
McTominay as MVP is deserved.
It's McTominay, man. Scott McTominay. It's the GOAT.
Vibes.
It's the GOAT.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm holding it back.
What are we saying?
You said down to the wire.
To the wire.
I'm holding myself back.
To the wire.
You are not Kanye West.
Try to bend to be with
All right.
you.
I had to get it out.
Where are we going next in Europe here?
To the Bundesliga.
Okay, what was that?
I don't know. I'm feeling like a singing boy. Anyways, Bundesliga.
Munich taking the crown
Munich
back.
won. I'm a Borussia Dortmund fan, and it was a rough year for us. We were 12th in the league before we hired our recent coach, Niko Kovac, Croatian GOAT. But when he got hired, we have legit, I saw like a picture, like if it was just the league after Kovac got hired, we would be second in the league, like 2 points behind Bayern.
Oh, really?
So once Kovac got in, we started to really get stuff into gear, and we got back up to fourth place. We got back into Champions League football. Even though I kind of wanted to get in Europa League just because I think we'd have a really good chance of winning that. But I'm happy we made Champions League. Dortmund keep their Champions League aura, and yeah.
So you had Bayern first, Leverkusen second, finished third.
Third, I believe, was Frankfurt. I'm pretty sure.
So we had
Frankfurt. They had a really good season. I mean, they had Marmouche at the start of the year, and Etikite, or whatever his name is. Interesting name. He had a good season too, but Marmouche, I honestly think he should have stayed with Frankfurt for the year. I think it would have been beneficial for not only him, but Frankfurt. I think at the time before he left, they were like about tied with Bayern, and they really could have made something happen there. But
it's always interesting to see in the Bundesliga. I feel like for the top 4 race in Germany, you always get that one club that jumps into the Champions League that you kind of don't expect to, and I think that's one of the It's really upsetting that I don't watch more of the Bundesliga because whenever I
good league.
watch it, I love watching it.
Really
The stadium atmosphere is 10 out of 10.
Incredible.
The football that they play, all good.
Pretty good.
They want to attack. They want to score.
Yes.
It's always a cool thing. You get these historic clubs too. So, yeah, Harry Kane first trophy,
Oh my goodness.
and he was suspended on the day that.
Yes, Harry Kane
actually,
broke
no,
the
they-
streak. Youngman's son broke the streak. Tottenham fans are up right now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tottenham. Shout out to Tottenham.
Yeah, so it was real cool.
Tottenham.
Real cool to see. I guess that's the only reason why I think I'm okay with Bayern. Right? You can see
Harry Kane,
finally
yeah.
getting a trophy that he deserves.
I was okay with it. Like last year, I was really happy when Leverkusen broke Bayern's streak because Dortmund just can't for some reason. We get so close every year, and then we bottle it. We're like German Arsenal, honestly.
Honestly, just like Juve.
German Arsenal.
Yeah. I just love bottler teams, and I like Arsenal, I like Juve, I like Dortmund. It's just
Bottlers, man.
I'm a bottle man. Anyways,
Bundesliga is going to be fun. I think next year is going to be a little bit more intriguing considering.
Dortmund winning a league. Dortmund win the
I mean, it'll
Bundesliga.
be interesting.
It's
Obviously,
happening.
Xabi Alonso going to Real Madrid. So,
Yes, it's true.
Leverkusen, it'll be interesting to see Leverkusen in that
Leverkusen
storyline.
out the league.
Vincent Kompany somehow is a decent manager at Munich. Dortmund should be good next year. It'll be interesting to see next year.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if Bayern can repeat. Considering, Muller's leaving, the squad, there's some question marks. It'll be interesting to see. Bundesliga next season, I think, will be really exciting.
I'm a little scared for Olise because Olise already in his first year, he had like crazy year. Like I have him as my honorable mention for player of the season just because of how good he was. Like Harry Kane, player of the season. I think we can all agree it's Harry Kane. It's Harry Kane. Harry Kane winning his first trophy, but Olise, he was just like. Whenever Bayern played Dortmund, I was really scared of Olise because he would just dribble through our whole team just easily. His tech and his just ability to put a ball wherever he needs it to on the wing as well is just so dangerous.
They've got some dangerous wingers. Sane, Gnabry, Olise, like they've got
Yeah, Kingsley Coman. Their wingers are
Coman,
so
yeah.
stacked. It's
They're
unbelievable.
incredibly good.
I hate to say it, they're like Kingsley Coman is like better than all our wingers, and that's like probably their worst out of the four.
And he's the one that's like the most overlooked, considering he's probably like he's a serial winner.
Yeah.
Like, he's won everywhere he's gone. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
No, they got a bunch of wingers on that team. Winning wingers. So, yeah, they're good, but Dortmund next year is still winning.
I would love to see Dortmund win the league. I hope they do. It's been a
Oh,
while.
I would too. Best believe. Oh my gosh.
Who knows?
Who knows? Anyways, gotta wrap this up. La Liga, very interesting La Liga season. Barcelona, after a little bit of some strenuous and not the best seasons, they are back and better than ever.
They are. Hansi Flick has really,
Top tier manager.
yeah.
Now
has really
that's a top tier
transformed-
manager.
Has transformed Barcelona.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see. And then Lamal just being essentially the player that we all thought, well,
Not too
it's controversial. No, we all thought that Neymar would be that could carry like Lamal has.
Yeah.
It's been really cool. Although Real Madrid,
Neymar shouts. Nah, he's good.
I think it's fair. I mean,
he's
he's only 17, but like in terms of how he helped Barcelona get to that, I think it was important. Huge for the club.
Yeah.
Madrid though, they had the lead and they bottled it.
Indeed, they did.
Ancelotti out, it's
Wherever Mbappe goes, he's just too much of a prima donna. He commands too much of the team, especially when we already got Vinny and Rodrigo and Bellingham. It's too much. It really is. They don't have that like set like strong striker that can be in the middle and can, hit down a header or do something and be that just like important target man. You know what I mean? I think they need to sell Rodrigo, look for a striker. I'd even look at Gyökeres if I was Real Madrid. I think that'd be a wonderful pickup for them.
okay. I have a question based off your argument. I'd roll in you too.
Yep.
Should Mbappe play as a striker or should he play exclusively as a winger?
Winger.
I'm
Where?
in my personal opinion, I see him more in the middle.
As someone that can play as a striker?
Yeah.
It's
Even
if
a
he-
center
I feel
mid
like,
though.
I feel like he could play. No, center mid.
I see him more as a center mid.
I feel like he could play as a striker,
Yeah,
but it
false
should
nine.
be with another striker, like in a 4-4-2 formation, the two striker
I agree with
formation.
that. Something like they were running like it was like Rodrigo and Vinny. if he was like, say he was like Rodrigo in that formation, you know what I mean? I think they would have even done better. They could. I mean, they already won like the treble that year, but like still, I don't even know what they could have done. The quintuple, the sextuple, I don't really know. It would have been even better.
Yeah,
But
it's really interesting to see how Mbappe has. I wouldn't say that he's the reason why Madrid regressed, but it's interesting to see the dynamic with Mbappe and seeing how you can have like domestic success in Paris, and then you fail in Europe, and then you go to Madrid and you win, I think, the Copa del Rey.
yeah,
But that's for Real Madrid. That doesn't mean anything.
Mickey Mouse Trophy.
Exactly. Like
Mickey
you
Mouse
either need to win the
Trophy.
league, you need to win the league, or you need to win the Champions League. You don't do that, failure.
Yeah. They need some more depth too. They don't have enough depth,
sure.
especially within their defenders. You know what I mean? They have over amounts of depth in their attacking play, and some of their midfielders. Their defense just kind of barren, especially with the injuries.
Especially watching the Clasico that essentially decided the title race. Some of the goals that Madrid gave up was just terrible.
Yeah, and they were they were putting on just like academy bums. I forget his name. Whatever. Whoever missed that goal in the El Clasico, just quit, man.
Yeah, it's
Put the
really
fries in the bag.
It's going to be more interesting next year with the La Liga, just as it is with the Bundesliga, with Xabi Alonso coming in. What players are going to sign, especially because Madrid needs a little more midfield depth. They need help in the back. It'll be interesting to see how they go, especially with Xabi Alonso, with his ideas, what he wants.
I'm excited to see Trent with Xabi Alonso. I think Trent is a very good system fit for him.
Yeah,
Also,
it'll be really interesting. Madrid's going to be a very interesting team next year.
Yeah, Xabi Alonso plays usually like a very like strong target forward. I mean, at Boniface last year, you know what I mean? He always plays with something that is like a very like big forward in the middle that he can hit headers to or can just body somebody off. They need to sign somebody like that. That's why I think Joker, well, he's not fully like that, but I think he would fit like that dynamic role that Xabi Alonso needs. They definitely need to sign a striker. I think that is minimum that they need to sign like a good striker. I mean, they got Endrick, but
he's like more like a number 10.
he's more like a number 10. He really is. He is more. And I think if Mbappe is to play striker, I think he'd play like a good number 10. I honestly think he would. I think he'd play like a nice little false 9 there. It's like,
yeah, they have their team set up right now. Madrid's a little bit wonky, and I think they got to figure it out.
yeah.
You think next year it's Barcelona's to lose again? Or do you
Yeah.
think it's gonna be closer?
I think they're gonna need a year. Xabi Alonso, like he doesn't. It's not always immediate like that. I'm pretty sure like the undefeated year wasn't his first year. You know what I mean? That was his second year in, or even third year possibly. It takes a year or so to develop his team, but I definitely think they should stick with him. I don't sack him automatically even if it's not the best year, because I think within a year or so they'll win a Champions League final again. Because it's Real Madrid. Xabi Alonso's a top tier manager. Although he's not the best when it comes to competitions, like knockout competitions. He kind of choked in the Europa League final against Atalanta.
Yeah, but that Atalanta team though.
Oh my
was
gosh.
so good.
Lookman is him.
Yeah,
Still.
no,
Not
I
as
don't
good
think
this year,
it's
but-
not to say that. I think Atalanta and their system they play
Yeah.
exposes the Leverkusen system,
100%.
and they're just you can't discount the Atalanta. They're a very good team, especially
Incredible.
that team last year was very good.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Next year in La Liga, again, will be interesting. I think a lot of the leagues next year is shaping up to be very interesting next year.
Yes,
Next
indeed.
season, my apologies.
Football's back.
Yeah.
Anyways, Premier League, the I don't know, the quote-unquote best league in the world.
I don't agree, but that's my opinion.
It's to each their own. It's the richest league in the world.
It is
That
the
is a
richest
fact.
league. That is a fact. Unfortunately, it's broken football.
Indeed, indeed.
Liverpool running away with it. Arsenal bottles again.
Same old. Except for
City imploded. Newcastle in the Champions League. There's a lot of storylines in the Premier League.
So
this
much,
year.
exactly.
As you have Tottenham and Man U finishing at the bottom. You have
Nottingham Forest having a crazy year. With
unfortunately they're in the Champions League, but they're
Very
in Europa
unfortunate.
League.
Hey, that's something.
Yeah, very interesting. Chelsea back in the Champions League.
Not Premier League, but Crystal Palace winning an FA Cup.
Yeah, a
there
lot
in
of
European football.
This season,
Football's back, right?
Yeah, a lot of teams this year.
Love Crystal Palace. Shout out Eze.
That's why I'm also hoping for Betis, because a lot of trophy droughts being broken. I think it'll be really cool for that to continue.
Indeed.
A very interesting year. I think Liverpool with re-signing Salah and Van Dijk. I
They
think
signed him.
they got both. They re-signed both.
Okay.
I think next year the Premier League I think it's Arsenal, Man City at the top. I'm sorry, not Arsenal. It's Liverpool and Man City at the top, and then everyone is just trying to play catch up. In my opinion.
Nah, this will be the year. Probably not, but this will be the year Man City gets 115 charges and they go down to the championship.
I
Probably
would love
not,
to see that
but I
happen,
would
but
love to see it.
it'll never happen.
No. Again, broken football, broken league, very corrupt.
I would be interested.
It would be
to
awesome,
see.
though.
It'll be interesting to see. Man City has like the coach. They have the team. This year we saw them implode. I don't think they'll be. I don't know. They could fight for a championship next year, but I also feel like they could also not. I don't know. I might rescind my statement. I think it's Liverpool at the top still, and then everyone's playing catch up.
No.
Man City could either win or they can just be top four.
Yeah, I like, because I do like Man City a fair bit. They got like one of my favorite players, Josko Vargil. I'm a Croatian, so I mess with them. But I don't think that they can. I don't think they'll win the league this year. I think I honestly, I'm not sure who, but I think we're in for like a surprise of the league. I could not. This is gonna be a crazy take. I could see Chelsea sneaking in somehow, some way, sneaking into that like at least top 2, top 3. They're on that gradual climb. You know, 12th and I think 4th or 5th they finished this year.
No, I think they finished the Champions League this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they finished Champions League. So
They
now
could
with
take that
Champions League
next step.
football, it's going to be a little harder to do well in the league, but I still think that they're going to make that next step again because the amount of people that they bought, you got to make something with it. You got to make something
not
with
like
it.
they bought,
So
like,
much
bad
young
players.
talent. No, they bought really good young talent. It's just there's so many that it's hard to develop them all.
Yeah.
But they're starting to get a squad where they're playing like this more similar players every time. Evil Saka is going to have Premier League scorer of the year. He's going to get the Golden Boot because Evil Saka is him.
It'll be interesting.
George.
It'll be interesting. I don't think Arsenal is close, and I know a lot of people who support Arsenal and think that they're close. But I think with Arteta, I don't think they'll ever win.
Really?
I don't think he's the guy. Considering how long he's been in charge of Arsenal now,
This is true.
I think next year, if I'm on the board at Arsenal, if you don't win next year any trophies, you're out.
I agree. I totally agree with that. Arsenal's such a big club that they have to win more trophies, and they haven't won many trophies really recently at all. They're about to be the next Tottenham. Tottenham got a trophy. Come on, Arsenal.
I know.
But
It'll be
they must be mad
interesting.
about that.
Newcastle will be interesting next year. Now that they're back in Champions League,
Yes.
they've got a decent team. I don't know if they're going to be challenging for a Premier League, but they have the resources to get
If
there.
they keep Isak, I could think they can challenge for it.
Yeah, but where would he even go?
Real Madrid.
That would be intriguing.
That'd be good.
That would be intriguing. Real Madrid would be very intriguing. But I don't think, especially with Champions League, I don't think Isak's leaving. If they didn't make Champions League, I'd been like, okay, yeah, they're leaving. He's leaving. But it'll be really interesting.
Isak's world class.
Anyways,
Anyways,
any thoughts on
yes.
Premier League?
Mo Salah.
Mo Salah. So I'm
here.
guessing your Premier League player of the season is?
Mo Salah.
Mine is also Mo Salah.
Yeah, he was really good this year. I
Shout out Chris Wood.
considering the age and how much he's older, he doesn't have much left at the top.
He's like,
33,
what is he,
32.
30s, mid 30s?
Early 30s.
Early 30s?
33, 32, yeah.
Yeah, for the season he had, it'll be. Hey, I'd love to see him do it again. He's a great player. One of the best right wingers in recent memory. Obviously, he's got a lot to compare with, but like he's consistently been one of the best goal scoring wingers in the
100%.
world for the last
I think
how many years?
I think he's already probably the best Premier League players of all time.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? Not even having the length of like some of these other guys like Gerrard and Alan Shearer, but like
Yeah, he's been one of the best.
it's just the stuff that he's done for his team. I mean, he doesn't carry Liverpool on his back. Don't get me wrong. They got Van Dijk, they got Trent, they got some really good players. But as far as the attack, he has been just the main catalyst in that attack and allowing them to have the success that they have. You know what I mean? He's
for sure.
such a superstar. He broke out so quickly too. I mean, when he first came out to Liverpool, he dropped like 40 goals in his first season.
He broke out really quick.
If Liverpool did not have Salah, they would not have won the trophies that they've won.
No.
I think that states
No way.
his impact that he's had on the club.
Yeah, they can still be a successful club, but just to the level that they are, they wouldn't have done it without Salah. He did goated for real. He just goated. Anyways.
Is he?
He just goated.
The guy? He's the guy?
He was the guy.
Who's the guy?
Mo Salah.
All right. Anyways, let's go. Let's give some respect to the other leagues outside the top 5. I think that obviously the best player outside the top 5 leagues has been Victor Gyökeres. I mean, he has been.
I heard he's rumored to go to Arsenal.
That's exactly what I was about to say when we were talking about Arsenal, is that they need somebody like Victor Gyökeres. They need, like, similar to Real Madrid, they need that striker in the middle, like, to really give them something. Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I have not watched. I don't know anything outside of the top 5 in Europe. I'm not even really paying attention to like the MLS right now, but
Inter Miami.
not great this year so far.
New York City FC.
They actually haven't been that great, but Messi.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's since we're here talking about this, like obviously it's been a while since the show's been on. So Messi in America is actually crazy. Like the thought of it, that like he's playing soccer in this country. And even watching when he
Think about like that 10 years ago. Messi's in America.
Messi's playing soccer in America would not have been a thought 10 years ago.
When he joined 2 years ago, I was locked into every game watching, and it was so surreal. It's still surreal, but like I would love to try to go to a Toronto game when
I did.
And you saw Messi?
I did. I saw Messi.
Speaking of Toronto FC sucks.
They are
both
not
Canadian
that great.
teams. Montreal and Toronto FC are both.
New York Red Bull.
New York
I love
City
you guys.
FC.
I love you guys. I
It's
love the New York
better.
Red Bull.
It's
They're a great
better.
team.
New York City FC is better.
No, they're not.
I don't have a team.
And
my
we're
life.
owned by Man City too.
No, I mean I was following my Inter Miami because of
Messi? Messi.
Yes, but also like they have Sergio Busquets, who's been one of my favorite players for a long time. So like it's
They also
been
have
interesting.
I'm
Luis
blanking right now.
Suarez,
Went
Jordi
to,
Alba.
They who went to Inter Miami from PSG with Messi? I'm blanking on the name.
Jordi Alba, right?
No, Jordi Alba was at Barcelona.
He was at Barcelona too. Still.
No, I don't think there was anyone else that came. From
Di Maria. Did he go to Inter?
Di Maria,
Or
I
not
thought he
Inter?
did.
No, he's back in Portugal.
Yeah, he's in Portugal.
Was he there for a year?
I'm pretty sure he's
though?
playing for Benfica. No, he's playing for Benfica right now.
I'm blanking. Somebody went there with it. I'm blanking now.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Benfica sold
I'll have
the
to do
league,
more
too.
research into that.
I was watching some League of Portugal.
He's
They
got
were
something.
going against.
No, it's not. No, it's not that. No, I'll let you finish.
It was last day of the league, and whoever won their game, like would have won. I forget who Sporting was playing against, but I was watching Victoria Guimaraes versus Benfica, and Benfica just sold. Di Maria's washed. I was watching that. Di Maria's washed. I mean, he's like 39. He's like walking with like a cane, but like he's still.
It's interesting. I think I don't know if you guys are following the career of Ronaldo, but he's leaving Saudi Arabia.
I did see that.
Really?
Yes.
People are saying he's gonna go to
He's been there for
Mexico.
what? 2 years? 3 years?
I think he signed on a 2-year contract, and he saw out that contract, maybe 3, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But he announced that he's leaving, but we don't know where he's going.
Where he's going?
Rumor could be that
Imagine
he's going
he
to
comes
Mexico.
Oh, I was gonna say, imagine
Yeah,
he
he's
comes
going
to
to
America
Mexico.
too. That'd be insane.
He's not going to because there's certain allegations against him in the U.S. That's why he's not coming here. But I heard it's either he can go to Brazil or he can go to Mexico because of the Club World Cup this summer.
Let me see Ronaldo on Toronto FC. Not in America.
They're saying for him to go to Monterrey, and Monterrey
with
signed
Sergio
Sergio Ramos. I don't think they'd be able to afford the two personally, unless they like sell their soul. But
They've got I think their owners there are like super rich.
yeah, their owner is like I think the richest person in Mexico. He owns La Pachuca too. He got in trouble recently because like he owns like two like the top clubs in Mexico.
Right.
And I think he got his, like the league title taken away because the way the Mexican league works, there's two windows. There is the beginning window, and then there's like the end of the season window, and there's two championships. So I'm pretty sure Monterrey won the first one, and La Pachuca won the second one, and they face each other in a cup at the end. But that couldn't happen because they're owned by the same.
That's interesting.
They're owned by the same thing. That's gonna be an interesting thing that happens with multi-club ownership as we like go on within the years, and there's so many clubs owned by different clubs, you know, and who knows if we'll see them within the same thing.
I don't know. You have the city one, but it's interesting. I'm interested mainly this summer with the Club World Cup to see how that goes.
Yes.
Obviously, it's here in the States. A lot of the big
Hope to go to a
clubs.
game.
A lot of the big clubs talked about, the beginning of the season when they did their press conferences that they're not happy about it because it's more games they have to play in their season.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see. Obviously, for like other clubs in the world, it's a huge opportunity.
Huge.
But for like the European clubs, it'll be interesting to see the players they bring. Are they fielding their strongest 11? Are they taking these games seriously? That'd be really
The
interesting.
fact that there's a new transfer window for it too, like there is completely you
Real
can buy
Madrid's
more
trying
players.
to get Real Madrid's trying to register Trent Alexander-Arnold for the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
Players who they're trying to transfer and get them to either like extend their loan
Yeah.
so they can play, or get them early. So it'll be really, really interesting to see.
Do you
there's
see
one-
like some teams like, I wouldn't say forfeiting, but not participating just because of being scared of injuries or maybe just playing that extra games?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty sure.
Even for like Dortmund, a lot of teams have been very active that are really trying to compete in this Club World Cup. You know what I mean? Especially look at like Monterrey and stuff with Sergio Ramos and everybody else they're trying to sign. But Dortmund really have not made any new additions. We signed Daniel Svensson, who is like a left back from Sweden that we got on loan, who has been absolutely incredible. Dortmund's really good at developing left back, like Ian Matson last year. I really wish we kept him. Ian Matson's kind of struggling at Aston Villa, but if he kept staying at Dortmund, he would have been incredible. I think he was like one of probably the main reasons we went to that Champions League final, or than maybe like Sabitzer. But
I think that'll be interesting. I'm super curious to know because I think if I recall correctly, Real Madrid threatened to not participate at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
they lying. They bluffing.
I don't know. It's
be real.
so I haven't been like super
Real Madrid
up to
can
date.
get a new trophy. Come on.
I haven't been that like up to speed on everything, but I'm going to be watching very intently this summer because I'm curious. I'm so curious.
Yeah, this is, although I think that for like the major European clubs, this is not very beneficial because with the possible injuries and the cost of everything too if you don't win.
Yeah.
But for these small clubs, like even if you're like participating, you're already getting like a big grant. So for these like clubs in Africa, for these clubs in Asia,
America,
South America,
yeah.
it is massive.
Yeah.
It is so much more wealth generation. You're getting a lot of more people viewing your team, buying your jerseys.
Yeah.
It's going to be big for world football in general. Although I think European football might have to take a hit, I think it's worth it.
I think that's worth it. If
'Cause,
European
yeah.
football takes a hit so others can be successful, I'm all for it.
Indeed. Well,
Is that it?
I believe this is the podcast. This has been OSC FC. This has been,
Roland Davis.
Mr. Strangio?
and this has been Dylan. We will see you next time, and go Dortmund. Bye, guys.